In the next 8 minutes, I'm gonna teach you how to create this minimalistic style animation that Iman Gadzhi used in his last YouTube video. I'll create the whole thing from scratch, giving you step-by-step instructions, so by the end of the video you're gonna have the skills to do the same. Without wasting any more time, let's dive into the video. Alright, right after we're inside a program, we're gonna press right click on the screen and create a new solid. We can leave the settings as they are and we're gonna press OK. And I'll simply add a 4-color gradient to the solid. Right now, make sure the second color is set to black and the third color is set to fully black too. And the rest of the colors we're gonna set to some kind of a purple bluish color, something like this. Then you want to copy this hash code with Ctrl+C, press OK and copy it over to the next one. That way we have created this cool gradient background. Now we're gonna have to animate it. And to do that, we're gonna click on this 4-color gradient up here. And then we're gonna see 4 of these different points on the screen right here. So if we move these points, you can see how the colors interfere with the background. And now we're just gonna have to keyframe them to make the background animated. So first thing, I'm gonna push this purple color dots a little away from the screen like this. And then I'm gonna set these point keyframes on each color. Then select the layer and press U. Go a bit further, something like 5 seconds in, and then we're gonna move these dots. So right now we're gonna switch them up. The purple one goes to the right and the black one goes to the left. The same on the other side. The purple one goes to the left and the black one goes to the right. And now when we play the video, we're gonna see how the background gets animated. Alright, the next thing to do is to create a little line. To do it, we're gonna press on this pen tool right here and start drawing a shape. So we're gonna click on the screen right here, and then we're gonna click approximately here while not letting go off the mouse. We're gonna create a desired curve, and now we can let go of the mouse. Now let's do the same for the next point. So click on the screen and don't let go of the mouse. Then keep repeating the same process over and over again. And once we're done, we can now select it and push it a little bit down. The best way to do this would actually be to align it right here. Right now it's exactly in the middle. And then we can go up here, hold onto this rectangle tool and choose ellipse tool. Draw a simple shape like this while holding shift. Now let's make sure the stroke is off and the fill is set to a white color. Press OK. Let's scale it down a little and place it over here. And now make sure to right click on the shape layer, go to layer styles and choose bevel and emboss option. Now open that option up, and here we're gonna play a little bit with the settings. So I like to push the soften to its maximum value so it's soft. Crank the size up a little. We can perhaps add a little bit more depth to it, but that's up to you. Now we're gonna add deep glow to it. We can set the radius value to about 50, doesn't have to be much, and exposure to about 0.2. And then we're gonna go into the tint option, enable it, go to the color settings and change it to a purple color. Press OK and then you're done. Actually, we're gonna crank up the radius up a bit, perhaps even the exposure a little, and that's it, we're good to go. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm gonna select it, duplicate it with Ctrl+D, and I'm just gonna drag it over to the next curve. Then I'm gonna repeat the process a few more times. When we're done placing them like this, we can now duplicate this ball one more time, and I'm gonna place it down here, but I'm just gonna go to the fill settings up here and change it to a slightly more purplish color. Then I'm gonna enter the bevel and emboss settings of that shape and turn down the depth option by 50%. I'm also gonna scale it up a bit. Right now I'm gonna go up and click on this type tool, click on the screen and type SMMA. I'm gonna scale it down and push it over here, and then I'm gonna change its color here in the color options. We're gonna click OK, and I'm gonna duplicate this text layer, add deep glow to the duplicated one, click on the rectangle tool up here and create a mask. Now we can press F on the keyboard while having the mask selected and crank up the feather. That's gonna create this subtle glow effect that makes it look really nice. I'm just quickly gonna play with the color settings too. I'm gonna turn the radius down a bit and crank the exposure up a little. And then right after we're done with setting up the text layer, we can select both of them, hit Ctrl+D to duplicate them, and then we can drag it over to the other side and just simply change the text. I'm just quickly gonna double click on the mask and adjust it right here. And at the very end of designing, I'm just gonna copy the deep glow from one of these shape layers and paste it over to this line right here. So this is what everything looks like right now. Now I'm gonna select this line shape layer again, click on this rectangle tool up here and make sure to click on this icon, which is gonna create a mask. So now we're gonna create a mask around the very top of this line and the other one at the very bottom. Now make sure to select both of the masks down there, and instead of add, we're gonna put subtract. Now we can press F for feather and dial it up a little bit so it gives that subtle ending to them. Right now we can see the end right here and it doesn't look good. I'm gonna click on the mask and I'm just gonna position it a little differently. And right now it looks much better. I'm also gonna change the stroke here to about 3 pixels. Now we're gonna select every layer in the timeline and click on this 3D icon right here. That's gonna make sure every layer that we see here is set to 3D. The reason why it's important is because we're gonna be using the camera later to animate everything. And in order for the camera to work, every layer must be set to a 3D layer. Okay, so right now I wanna start animating everything. And the first thing I wanna do is to make this purple ball follow this line right here. We're gonna do it by clicking on the line shape layer, opening up this arrow right here, open contents, shape, path, copy its path right here with Control C, then click on the other shape layer, which is this ball right here, press P for position and copy the path over. Now the offset is a little bit wrong. Honestly, I don't know why this happens, but we're gonna fix it quickly by just dragging this point down and adjusting the path to match the line here. And now when we play the clip, we're gonna see how the ball is following the line. You can always take the ending keyframe and drag it out. Of course, we're gonna select them and press F9 to easy ease, get into the graph editor, select both keyframes, and I'm gonna create a mid peak. That way it's gonna start slow at the beginning, speed up, and then slow down at the end. Right after that, we can animate the line, so click on the line layer, open it up, click on add here and choose trim paths, open up trim paths. We can now set a keyframe, push it a little bit out and set the end to 0. Select them and easy ease them, tweak up the graph, make a left peak, and now we can animate these balls appear. So we're gonna click on this shape layer, for example, press S for scale. We're gonna set a keyframe, push it out a little, and then make it slightly smaller. We can select them and easy ease them, press T for opacity, set a keyframe, push it out a little too, and set it back to 0. This is what the animation looks like, and now we can copy it over to the rest of the layers. So let's select these keyframes, Control C, select other shape layers, and press Control V. That way every layer is gonna be animated the same way. The only thing that's wrong is that we messed up the scale on this one right here. So we're gonna change it right here. It was about 84. And I also don't want this purple ball to start animating right away. So I'm gonna click on it, press P to see position keyframes. I'm gonna select them and push them a little bit forward. And now the only thing left to animate is the text. So I'm gonna click on this text layer, search for the effect called Fade Up by Characters, click on it, and I'm gonna repeat the same thing for this glow layer. Now select both, press U, and drag these keyframes a little bit back. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing for this text up here. And finally, at the end, the only thing left to do is to create the camera movement. So right click on the screen and create a new camera. We can leave it at a one node camera and press OK. And now we're gonna create a new null object. We're gonna make sure it's 3D layer as well. And we're gonna parent the camera to the null. I'm quickly gonna change their color. And you're gonna see later on why we did this, but basically this null is now controlling the camera movement. So whatever movement we're doing to the null, it's actually controlling the camera. And also before doing any movements, I'm just quickly gonna turn off the 3D layer for the background because background doesn't have to be 3D. So I'm gonna set a keyframe on the null object. And I'm gonna push it a little bit down so it starts from the bottom. And I'm also gonna scale it up a little. Of course, I'm gonna push that keyframe to the beginning. And then I'm gonna go further with the playhead and position it a little up like this. Of course, we're gonna select the keyframes and easy ease them. And now what we're gonna do next is to click on the camera and press Ctrl-Shift-D on the keyboard. That's gonna separate the camera layer into 2 different cameras. And why is that good? Because we can create a very nice match cut with it. So now I'll click on the second camera, press P for position, and zoom it in, just like this. What this is gonna do is that when the first camera reaches its end, it's gonna switch to the second camera right here, while the motion is still being controlled by the null object. So no matter what we change on the camera settings, the keyframes are not gonna get messed up because the whole motion is controlled by this null right here. So exactly when the playhead reaches this breaking point, the camera zooms in and creates a really nice match cut. This is how it looks like in the motion, and this is how your scene should approximately look like after a bit of tweaking. Hit the subscribe button if you found this video helpful. Comment down below on what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.